Welcome to IV Computer Education online session. In this session, we'll see definition about C programming. So, what is the C language? C is a computer programming language that was developed to do system programming. So, what do you mean by system programming? It's nothing but for operating system. C was developed in the early year 1970s by Ken Thompson and later Dennis Ritchie in 1972 at Bell's lab. It is a procedural language. What do you mean by a procedural language? Which means that people can write their program as a series of step-by-step instruction. C is a compiled language, means C supports for compiler. So if I want to work with C programming, I have to install the compiler. C is a middle level language. Why it is called as a middle level language? Because it supports both high level and low level codings. Now, what are the features we have in C language? So why have to learn the C language? Simple, portable, middle level, structured, rich library, extensible, faster, memory management. We'll see one by one. Simple. All the codes are written in English. So it is easy to read and understand. Machine independent. So what do you mean by machine independent? So unlike assembly level language, C programs can be executed on different machines, but with same operating system and processor. Means if I want to run any application which is developed in C language, we need same operating system and same processor. Example, I have developed one project in Windows operating system. So user also must have an Windows operating system. So they can't run on Linux or Unix OS. And in Windows, I have done in P3 processor. Even user also must have P3 processor. So operating system also must be same. Even the processor also must be same. That's why it is called as machine independent. Mid-level, middle level language. So we know high level language and we know low level language. So what is this mid level language means? We can use the C programming for system application. So system application such as kernel, drivers, means OS. We can develop operating system using C language. It is not only for operating system. We can also develop some other application softwares. That's why it is called as middle level programming language. Structured programming language. We can break our program into parts by using function. So huge number of coding I can break into smaller parts so to make it easily understand. Rich library. C provides a lot of inbuilt function that make the development faster. So we have so many inbuilt function to make the work easier. Memory management. It supports for the feature of dynamic memory allocation. So what is this dynamic memory allocation means? So we are not allocating the memory before only. So when I run the program, we are allocating the memory. So we have a concept called dynamic memory allocation. Using that, we can allocate the memory during the runtime, and also we can deallocate the memory by using set of functions called free. We'll see this in the program, how this memory is dynamically allocated and how it is deallocated. Speed. So C supports for compiler, so execution time of the C language is faster. Extensible. So extensible means it can easily adopt the new features. And why C is called as a basic programming means whatever the concepts you're learning in C language, all the concepts are implemented in further programming languages. So the basics features, whatever you are learning, it will be carried forward for all the further programming languages. That's why it is called as C is a basic programming language. What other types of applications we can develop in C? Operating system. Mainly, if I tell C, that's why in the definition also I have told it's a system programming language. Why? The first operating system is developed using High level programming language was Unix, which is designed in C programming language. So Unix is one of the operating system which is developed using C programming. Embedded system means all our drivers, like all the machine related hardware components like mouse driver, hard disk driver, all these drivers, if I want to make a work, I need set of coding. Such type of codings and all it is done in C language. GUI, all that graphical user interface means all application softwares. Adobe Photoshop for photo editors, it is done in C language. Adobe Premiere, Illustrator, all these things they have done in C language. These are the sets of list of softwares they have created in C language. So new programming. So I told no, C is carried forward for all the further programming languages like C++, MATLAB for mathematics, for all these things that we are using C language. Google. So that Google Chrome browser is developed using C. MySQL is one of the database. It is done in C. Compiler design. So using C, we can create a set of compilers that Bloodshed Developer C, C language C, Ming W, and Apple C. So all these things are done in C language. Then gaming and animation. The simple games, I think you are familiar with tic tac toe, dino game, snake game, and all this animation games. All these things done in C language. So C is used for system programming, application softwares, used in drivers, used in compilers, used in database, used in games. So these are the list of applications we can develop using C programming. So what are the set of compilers we need to run our C program? So these are the list of compilers we have. Boland C, Tiny C, GCC. See, these are the list of compilers we have. Along with this, we have some online compilers. We can use that also. Code blocks, Microsoft Visual Studio C++. See, few compilers supports for Windows, few compilers supports for Unix, few compilers supports for DOS operating system. DOS is outdated. Nowadays, we are not using DOS. Turbo C, Boland C. So Dev C++, this is the compiler I'm using to show you all the programs. We can run on NetBeans, Eclipse, Microsoft Visual Studio, Code Blocks, GCC. This is the compiler we are using if you are working on Unix or Linux operating system. You use any OS to write your C program. Compulsorily, we need what? Compilers. So each operating system requires different set of compilers.